that Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and their children could be set to lose their royal titles if and when Prince William becomes...
2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH title.
Know that heartbeat before disaster strikes, when the air thickens, smiles vanish, and the unspoken hangs heavy in the room? That's exactly the silence gripping Buckingham Palace. No flashing lights, no public statements, just a pulse of raw tension. Inside those iron gates, the palace wasn't frantic. It was calculating. And when powerhouses like that fall silent, the world beyond their walls has every reason to fear.
Has been spreading for weeks now that once he becomes king, across the board, he's going to strip everyone that's not a working member of the royal family of their titles. And really that would be just because it's easier to manage a smaller royal family. And then you can slip in no longer HRH for Harry and Meghan and their children. And it doesn't look so personal if you take everybody out at the
palace announced a formal review of royal titles, with a laser focus on those who weren't working. That phrase alone cut deeper than any blade. This wasn't a routine audit dressed in politeness, it was a signal. Behind closed doors, they'd been plotting a slimmed-down monarchy. Translation: someone was about to lose everything. And suddenly, those gleaming titles weren't just symbols of prestige anymore, they were on trial. Legal scrutiny. Who would keep them? Who would be stripped bare? Who had been treating them like luxury brands instead of sacred honors? 6 out of 10 people were already ready to see them gone. Public opinion was a powder keg. And the palace had just struck the match. Somewhere in California, that bombshell landed like an icy punch to the gut.
Really push aside anyone who's been freeloading or using their titles for commercial gain. And we know the late Queen had said to Meghan, forbade her from using the HRH title. And of course, Meghan's just blithely got...
The second the words royal titles under review hit the headlines, Harry broke. Not a quiet, reflective break, full-blown, hard-in-your-throat panic. He hadn't seen it coming. For the first time in years, the thing he thought he'd escaped was dragging him back, consequences in tow. Phones lit up, meetings evaporated, reality slammed into him like a freight train. This wasn't just bad press. This was personal, his name. His children. His future. His identity. He tried calling, demanding the process be halted immediately. The reply? Ice. Sharp. Unmistakable. If this matters, show up. So he did. No Meghan, no cameras, no curated image. Just Harry, alone, boarding a private jet to London, not chasing peace, but hurtling toward a reckoning he never imagined. And just like that, the boy who ran from the palace was flying straight back into its jaws.
To take down the monarchy, but at the same time elevate themselves for financial gain. And that is also unnecessary to...
Let's pause for a second. Remember when Harry and Meghan announced they were leaving, for privacy? For peace, normal life, freedom from the spotlight? Yeah, about that. Because what followed wasn't silence. It was a flood. Netflix crews roaming their home, a headline-grabbing Oprah interview, a Spotify podcast spilling more secrets than a palace dinner, a memoir that left no corner of the royal world untouched. And every single time, those royal titles were front and center: Duke, Duchess, Prince. Let's be honest, you don't quit the company and keep flashing the logo on checks. Privacy became a product. Trauma became primetime entertainment. And the crown, the very thing they called toxic, quietly morphed into the backbone of their brand. That's when the palace stopped watching and started taking notes. Now, Meghan. This is where contradictions pile up. On a podcast, she once said, "I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family. Soft, innocent, wide-eyed. Cute." But palace insiders remember differently. They remember Meghan poring over biographies, practicing curtsies, asking pointed questions about royal history, especially Diana. This wasn't a naive American stumbling into royalty with a yoga mat and a dream. This was preparation. Strategy. Intent. Then came that Ellen moment, the curtsy to a champagne bottle, played for laughs, mocking the very formality she'd once claimed to misunderstand. Funny, until titles were suddenly on the chopping block. Then that joke landed differently. Suddenly, it wasn't playful. It was incriminating, and here's the line that made Buckingham Palace see red. When Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties, they agreed, explicitly, to stop using the HR title. Not suggested. Not implied. Agreed. And yet, it kept appearing. On documents. In correspondence. Behind the scenes. Small? Not in royal terms. HR is honor. Service. Not a celebrity logo. Using it anyway? That's not oversight. That's defiance. Working royals don't monetize their names. They don't license their position. And when the palace saw HR being treated like a brand asset, the line wasn't blurred. It was obliterated. This wasn't family drama anymore. This was a breach of rules. Repeatedly. And when the palace decides rules matter again, things get very, very serious. When Harry finally lands in London, there's no welcome party. No hugs. No dramatic reunion. He's taken straight to Clarence's house. The tone is icy. This isn't a family visit. This is a meeting. Harry storms in, demanding the title review stop immediately. He reminds his father who he is. A prince. Diana's son. Someone the public still idolizes, and then the air shifts. The reply isn't emotional. It's surgical. This isn't about him. It's about the future of the crown. That's the instant Harry realizes something terrifying settled in. His memoirs, his interviews, his pain, none of it held weight here. Titles aren't sentimental tokens, they're structural. And structures don't bend for heartbreak. Then it got colder. William walked in, unannounced, unshaken, and completely finished. No small talk. No brotherly warmth. Just a tension so thick it pressed against the walls. Harry accused him. This was orchestrated, pushed through Parliament, a punishment. William didn't flinch. Each